This is a video request from a follower, but if you are still using services like Bitly or other third-party URL shortening link providers, if they go down or you lose access, that link, which might be important, is gone. Also, it's just another service that you should be owning. Let's set up our own URL shortening service. I am going to go into ourlocalhost.com. I'm going to click on feature and I'm going to look for URL short. And Kutt is the one I want to talk about. In this video, I have a domain already I'll use in Namecheap. I'll show you how to get that into Cloudflare, how to then create a tunnel, how to use that tunnel to a Unraid server. You can skip the tunnels if you have a server hosted in the cloud. I'm doing it locally. I usually use Pangolin, but Cloudflare is what I'm going to do today. Then we'll set up the Postgres, we'll set up the Redis database, and then we'll set up Kutt. Once I get it set up, Kutt also has an API, so maybe we can do something with N8N. First off, in the domain, I have set my DNS to point to Cloudflare. In Cloudflare, I have onboarded a domain name and it's all set up. It takes only a few minutes and very easy to set up. Now I'm going to set up my tunnel. In my Unraid, I've gone into apps and I've searched for Cloudflare. I want the Unraid Cloudflared tunnel. I'm going to install that and it's going to ask me for a token. Back into Cloudflare. In the main area, I'm going to Zero Trust, Networks, Connectors, and we have Cloudflare tunnels. I'm going to add a tunnel. I want Cloudflared, select Cloudflared. Going to give it a name, calling it Project Servers, Save Tunnel, and it's going to give me a token. So I'm just going to click this for now, back into Unraid, and we'll see Tunnel Token. Paste the token in, and I will do apply. While that's setting up, next. And I don't need to do anything just yet. I want to go back to my tunnels and I'm waiting for this, healthy. This means the tunnel is set up. I can now do domains and point them to that server, which is brilliant and it's free. Done. 3 installs we need to do. Postgres, Redis, and then Kutt. So let's do Postgres first. I'll do Postgres 17, click install. And I'm going to say this is kutt-postgres. Okay, and then I want user, just going to do Postgres, for password, Postgres for user, Postgres DB. I'll just do Postgres. No, I'll do it Kutt, Kutt, and we have a port there. That should be fine. Hit apply. Okay, that's done. Now I'm going to go into Redis, and then I want the official Redis install. Then I'm just going to do apply. I was just checking my ports here. Done. Now let's go and Kutt. Install. Okay, so web UI port, I'm going to change this to 8989. The database host, this is the IP address, so 192.168.60.111. That will change for you. Database port, I'm just going to check my allocations, look for the Postgres 5432. 5432. Database name is Kutt. Database user is Postgres. Database password was Postgres. Database SSL false, that's fine. Redis host. Again, IP address 192.168.60.111. Check the Redis port. So Redis port 6379, defaults. Redis password, I didn't do any. If you have an SMTP service for mail, you would want to add that. I'm not going to set that up now, but you would add the SMTP, the host port, and so on and so forth. I'm going to leave that. Admin nails, it's required, but it won't work. But I'll do hello@benlab.cc. And then domain. This is the domain that we are going to set with our tunnels that we set up. So I'm going to grab the domain name that I'm using, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to go into Cloudflare, project server, edit. I want a published application. I'm just going to select the URL I want it. TP. So the domain I'm going to use is the Italy link. This is the one we set up. Hit apply. Okie doke. Let's view the container log. See if there's any big errors. There may be a user password database error. The fact it didn't open, there's an error somewhere. Let's figure it out. All right, I'm going to go into my terminal because I'm going to need I need to see the logs because it's not showing. So I want to Docker logs. Yeah, in case you can't see. All right, Docker logs --tail 200/f, and then I want to Kutt mail port. I need to add a mail. Okay, so if I go into Kutt, even though I wonder if I can just do 587. It said mail port, even though it's not required. So let's do done. Let's have a look at the logs. All right. Okay. So it needed a mail port required, but no domain. Anyway, so let's have a look and see if that is brilliant. Let's get our domain working first before we do anything more. So it is on 8989. We want this, and I'm going to go into Cloudflare, and I've got a domain HTTP, hit 8989, hit save. Now, if I click on here, click here, that now loads. So quick. So that is the domain set up. This is a root domain. It's not a subdomain, a root domain going just to that port. I'm going to create an admin account. Benlab. We'll make a password, create admin account. That worked. All right, let's check, see if we have any, check and see if we've got any admin. So log in. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. So in the settings, this is built so you can allow other people to use it. I'm just going to use it personally, so I don't really need to set a custom domain. I do want an API key. I'm going to store that for a second, and everything else is fine. Have a look in our admin. We can see our shortened links. Everything is great. I'm going to go into the URL, localhost.com, enter. It makes a link. So we've got our short link and then a custom endpoint. We can do advanced and we can add extra. So I'll call this localhost. Let's go OLH, and then I should be able to create a new one, and it will just give me an updated link, OLH. If I click on it, go to it, done. It works. Now, if I go into my admin, I will see we've got the domain, the name, the short link, how many views have done. Should give us some pretty neat link analytics, which is really nice. I really like that. Okay, so we set up our domain, we've set Cloudflare, we've done the tunnel, we've set up all of the things. We are set up. And if it's public, anyone can use this if you want them to. API. Let's see if we can do something using the API. We'll need to look at the documentation. Doesn't exist. I wonder. I'm going to keep my API key here. Let's just grab that. I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to delete that. Now I'm going to create, I want to see if I can figure out, so that would be the URL, and here's our token application. I reckon payload, all right, and that's the response. Let's see if we can make our own documentation. So I'm going to use Postman. Postman is a way that you can test and use APIs. So I'm just going to go into Postman now, just go into my random stuff, create, and go away. Okay, I don't want any of that. All right. Let's see if we can, go away. Let's see if we can test it. So I'm going to do a post to the API, to the URL we know works. And I'm going to go into my headers. I'm going to do a content type application form. And I want cookie. And then we'll grab the API key that we created. And in the body, key data. And then target will be the URL I want. And let's see what happens. So form data, key, value, URL maybe. I do want this, that. It worked. It worked. Okay. It worked. Great. So I reckon if I go back into here, admin, here we go. The API works. Brilliant. I'll make some documentation. I'm going to add it to my Patreon where I'll put all of this. So there'll be some documentation about how to do this. But for an example, why would you want to do this? Let's do something in N8N. I'm going to create a new workflow. I'm just going to do trigger manually, and I want to do a HTTP request. So this is a post. The URL is the URL we have. Authentication. I'm going to skip that. I'll just add headers. Content type, application. Cookie equals token equals your API key. And I'm going to send body, and we want form URL encoded. I need to change this. No, I will add manual, and then I'll just do it manually. But you would probably add something else in here. So target, this is where you would pass in that information. It could be from a chat, it could be another service, but we'll do our low. You know what? I'll just do example.com. Let's try execute, and that works too. Brilliant. Okay, so let's refresh. It works perfectly. Okay, that's how we set up. We set up the domain, we get everything working, and that's how you can use your local Kutt in an API if you want. I'll do all of the documentation in my Patreon, and the full video will be up on YouTube.